Okay, good evening. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the Town of Star Valley Ranch Planning Commission meeting on Wednesday, February 11th. It's 5:35 p.m. We started a little late. You might have to put her on mute. Okay, sorry. We had some technical difficulties with one of our commissioners is out of town, and we're trying to get them on Zoom, so apologies for the delay. But we'll go ahead and get going. So the first item of business on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. Could I get a motion to adopt the agenda, please?
So move.
It's been moved by Commissioner Albers. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Nalmoff. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, alrighty. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from January 28th, our meeting on January 28th, 2026. Any changes or comments, edits on those? Okay, could I get a motion to approve the minutes from January 28th?
So moved.
Been moved by Commissioner Sommerfeld. Could I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Very good. All right. We really only have one agenda item this evening. We were going to, again, take some time to talk about the Mountain Estates annexation petition and review. This evening, I really wanted to kind of go over the draft revenue and cost estimates that were sent out to the commissioners a few days ago, I believe. And then we'll talk a little bit about some comments that we've received and that we're compiling that we want to also include on the website. So the town clerk printed out the copies of what was sent. And if we could start with the revenue estimate draft. And for folks from the public that are here, we're going to be putting this information on the town website by the end of the week. Just wanted to have a chance for the planning commission to go over it first. And then also we have it up on the screen so folks that are in attendance can see, and plus it's a little bit bigger. So we'll start out with some basic, so these are estimates, and these are going to be revenue projections and estimates, and usually when you do estimating, you have some overarching ground rules and assumptions that go along with the estimate you're going to develop. And for this exercise, what we did was we used the currently conditionally approved master plan that the county is conditionally approved as far as the phasing and how it will be built in phases and the timing of those phases. So since that's really the only project schedule we have at the moment, that's what all these estimates are based on, is using that same phasing schedule. And so there's 13 phases of townhome development, and then there's 7 phases of single-family homes. And then the first thing that was done was we developed sort of what we'll call a development schedule, and it's really actually the very last page of this packet of information you have. And you can see on the very last page, this big one here, how we laid out when each set of 4 townhomes will be built according to the schedule and when the single family lots would be available for development. And as far as the single family homes, if the phasing schedule said from 2029 to 2035, these 9 lots were going to be available for development, we included all 9 in the very first year of that 5-year segment, just for trying to be consistent. And then we also assumed for the revenue estimate that all of the townhomes would be built out by 2048, so that 100% of the townhomes would be built by 2048. For the single family home lots, we only assumed that 49% would be built by 2058. And that was taken in part from, if you consider Star Valley Ranch, we have 2,024 lots currently, and those lots started being developed, some of them in the 70s, and here we are in 2026, and we're about 60% built out. So chances are that not every single lot in Mountain Estates would be built by the end of their current development schedule. Okay, so that's sort of the overarching stuff. And then there's also a number of assumptions associated with the water rates and fees, and as well as the sales tax and the property tax. And so I guess I'll talk about those as we get to each of those parts of the estimates. All right, so if you want to go to, so this very first part, first tab, is a summary of, it's a roll-up of all the other pages behind it. So we'll call it the revenue estimate summary. And the top line, again, these are estimated property tax revenues based on the developer's current schedule and how those would come in. And we'll look at those in a little bit more detail when we get to the subsequent sheets. And then the second line there is sales taxes, which is the same. Sales tax a little bit different because sales tax is based on population, but it's also based on the population as reported by the most recent federal census. So that's why you don't see anything changing there until 2030. And then water rates are the next row, water tap fees, plan investment fees, and then the grand total there at the bottom. Again, what we would expect if the development went as planned. And then there's no inflation in any of these estimates. There's also no factoring in of annual increases to like base water rates or anything. Yes,
What page are we on?
sorry, we're still on the second page of this one right here. Right after the ground rules and assumptions. That's
Are you on
the
revenue?
revenue estimate summary. Yeah, there's a revenue one and a cost one, so make sure you're on the revenue one.
It might be the other packet.
Oh, there's, the
Yeah,
packets are
different.
different.
So
Sorry, everyone.
We're on the revenue one.
Sorry,
That's why you're probably going, what is she talking about?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you
I got it.
factored in, like, when we get to we'll get to the property taxes here in just a second, we used a base rate of $600,000 for the sale price, or I'm sorry, the value of a single-family home. We didn't change that or escalate it through the course of the estimate, and the same thing for townhomes. And then we did the sales taxes on a per capita basis, but we'll get to those too, so. If you want to go ahead and flip then past the summary to this next really big, like, tabloid-sized sheet here, that's the start of the property tax revenue estimates. So if you want to go to that,
How big are the
There you go.
townhouses?
how big are they?
How many are they gonna
Down
hold?
here?
I'm trying to-
They're 18 square feet,
How much?
1,800.
1,800,
Okay, and so so are they, how many, how many?
Bedrooms.
A
Four
a
plexes.
bedrooms, apartment in each one, or is it,
It's a fourplex,
okay, that's, okay, I couldn't.
okay. But are they 2 or 3 bedrooms, do we know?
3.
3? Okay.
Okay,
And we used, so on the property tax revenue for the townhomes, we used an estimated price of $400,000. We looked at, sale prices of townhomes recently, and we've also been looking at that as part of the master plan update. So that was just sort of, we used $400,000 for townhomes and $600,000 for single-family homes. Then you use the formula, the assessment, so the assessment rate is 9.5%, so you take 9.5% of what the estimated price of the house is, so 9.5% of 400,000, and that's your assessed value. And then you apply the mill levy to it. And then Star Valley Ranch takes 8 mills. And so then that's how we got 11.94%, and that's how we ended up calculating those. Like if you go to, just like drop down into this one.
9/11.
Yeah. Right there. It looks a little complicated, but, and then put your cursor up there in that row. Yeah, right there. Oops. Oh, you have to click that, sorry, enable editing, otherwise it won't let you do it. It'll let you. There we go, now go to that row. And then you can see like it shows you where the formula, where it's picking up the costs and how they're being calculated. So you've got, the 600,000, there's 2 homes here, so it's times that, then times the assessment rate, and then divided by 1,000 for the mill levy, and then our percentage for Star Valley Ranch. So it's a little convoluted, but it's accurate as far as how they calculate the mill levy. or the property tax rates. And so we basically did that all the way across for townhomes and single-family homes as they would come online based on the current development. And you can see the green row at the bottom here is the projected property tax revenue to the town for each of those years. Again, just a draft, just an estimate, but that's what it could possibly look like. And then the back of that page just takes you out through the end of it. And of course, the property tax fluctuates depending on, you know, how many properties are actually being assessed during a particular year. And then there's the notes down at the bottom that just talk about how it's calculated. I know it's a lot to take in, so I just wanted to kind of walk through the method to the madness here. So if you want to go to the next one, which is the water rates and fees estimate. And this one's looking at the service availability fees, which are for undeveloped lots, and then also our base rate water fees, tap fees, and then plan investment fees. And this one's a little more complicated just because there's a lot more pieces to it. So we tried to look at, you know, obviously, if you think about the single-family homes, not every single lot is gonna be developed, so there's gonna be some that are just gonna be sitting there undeveloped for a while. But those lots are still gonna get assessed, right, the service availability fee, just like what happens here in town for our water rates of our undeveloped lots. And then as each of the houses gets built and gets connected, then we calculated, you know, the $68.50 a month for the base fee. We actually didn't calculate any water usage. It just seemed kind of ridiculous to try and get that far in the weeds at this point. And then we did calculate tap fees. And then the plant investment fee, we talked a little bit about that before. That's the additional fee that goes toward, it would be assessed on each lot as it's built out to, and that money goes into the town's water infrastructure, right? Because these would be additional connections to the water service that were not originally planned for. So the plan investment fee is specifically to build water storage and water infrastructure, and that's how it's set up in our ordinances.
And that's, so is that $64,000 in 2026 and then $32,000 in 2028?
Yes, for townhomes, yeah. And that's because of the way the townhomes are done, you know, in blocks of 4. Oh, and I'm sorry, for 2026, we were counting, plan investment fees. I think we rolled in 2025 into that too. That's probably why it's double. Because we would still, you know, even though there's 4 townhomes that are already built over there, we would still collect, you know, the plan investment fee because those are adding to our water system. And then there's, of course, some grand totals at the bottom, and what was that? 2021 ordinance. Okay. At the bottom, for the plan investment fee, in our town ordinances, we had that as $8,000 per property or per connection. However, Forsgren, our engineering firm, recently recalculated it, and it's now $3,500. But we added in, we wanted to show what it would be at $8,000 versus $3,500. That's what that bottom row is, so.
Where do you go now?
Why did Ryan say that went down?
Just what he recalculated, I mean, he didn't, I don't know where the 8,000 came from
I
originally.
think that's part of what the problem was, you're right. So we don't know where the 8,000 came from in the ordinance, that's what it was. And then Ryan couldn't come up with a number that would basically add up to that when he did all the infrastructure calculations, and so that's considerably less. And he actually did this same kind of look at the plan investment fee for this development a number of years ago. It might have been when they actually came in for annexation before, and I think then it was a little higher, 4,500 or something. But, and then we also have, we took all the fees out of ordinance, so if you try to find $8,000 in the ordinance right now, you're not going to, because it's supposed to be in our fee schedule, but it accidentally got dropped out of the fee schedule, so we're putting it back in. But probably, I don't know what, we haven't decided as a council yet if we're gonna put the 8,000 back in or go with the 3,500, so. And those sorts of fees, the plan investment fees would be negotiated as part of the development agreement or not? I don't think that's part of the, that's like, just, that's what the town is gonna charge, so, okay. All right, so there's that. Water. Sales tax, that one was fun. Okay, so then if you flip to the next 8.5 by 11 size, and again, I apologize that these are all different sizes. We'll do better on that next time. So the sales tax was a little tricky to get after. But doing the master plan update has helped a little bit. So sales tax is based on population. There's a little box down there that kind of explains how the state calculates sales tax right now. So there's a 4% sales tax that's applied. Some of the counties have additional, like fifth penny and things like that. But all the sales tax that's collected goes to the state, and then the state keeps 69% of it and sends 31% back to the county. And then the county distributes that 31% based on population to municipalities. So in 2020, Star Valley Ranch's population was 1866 per the 2020 census. So what we ended up trying to do was projecting, and of course the US Census Bureau comes out every year with the American Community Survey and gives you an estimate of what the population is. And then also the Wyoming Economic Analysis Division does an annual, or actually probably quarterly, I think, population estimates. So we looked at what those were. The Wyoming Economic Analysis Division in 2024 said Star Valley Ranch's population was 2,041. In 2023, the American Community Survey had the population at 2,107. So I was just trying to figure out what is the population going to be in 2030. And this giant blue sheet, and we are not going to look at that one, is it's a population forecast. So we input the population data that we had, and Excel will do a forecast for you. And so that's how we arrived at what the population might be in 2030. Plus, you know, you can go online to like world population, all those things, and it'll give you a population forecast. So we did a forecast of what the population might be in 2030 for the town. And then we also, using inhabitants per household, so in the Census Bureau says that's 2.71 people per household. I don't know how you get 0.71 of a person, but essentially 3. We then took that and applied it to the number of townhomes and single-family homes that potentially would be built by phase in Mountain Estates. And then we also, let's see what page it's on. So if you flip over to the second page of this, you'll see a little graph down there at the bottom that gives you the Star Valley Ranch sales tax revenues for the past 11 years. Those are the actual numbers of sales tax dollars the town collected, or that were distributed back to the town, I should say. And you can see that it's gone up pretty rapidly, especially the last few years. And then there was an interesting up and down during the COVID years where sales tax went down and then it went up wildly and then went back down again. So we used sort of the average annual tax dollars collected and then did it per capita. So basically you're dividing your population into the annual sales tax collected to get that number. So the town, for those of you that don't know, sales tax revenue is, I think, the largest tax revenue that we get. And property tax is too, but sales tax is, if you were to rank all the taxes the town gets as revenue, sales tax is the top one. Okay. And then what else do we have here? I think that might be it. The last two things are just showing you the Mountain Estates development schedule, and those were pulled off of the plat and the phasing schedule. So Again, a lot to take in. And it's easier to walk through those too when you have the Excel file, if you're a nerd that likes Excel spreadsheets like I do, so. All right, then the next one is not as long, because we're still working on trying to pull costs together. So the next setup is the annexation cost estimate draft. And one of the things I wanted to talk about with the commissioners tonight is what other costs should we be capturing? So if you flip over to the back of the title page, there's again the ground rules and the assumptions, using the same schedule. And right now, the only two costs we have are for road maintenance and for water meter installation. There's already a couple more now that we know we need to add. One of them is to include maintenance for chip seal roads that would have to be done on a 5-year basis. We have to incorporate that. That's not in here right now. And then the other one, which a resident brought up to me, what about mailboxes? Where is Mountain State's gonna get their mail? And I see Mr. Isaac is here, so where are they gonna get their mail?
We actually have a designated place that will have mailboxes on the
Property. So you wouldn't actually, if you were annexed into the town, you would not use the mail center downstairs, or would you expect to?
No, well, whatever would be preferred, to be honest with you, I'm open to whatever.
Okay,
From the county's perspective, they wanted us to have a mail
like
designated
the
location.
boxes, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So that's kind of in the drafting, and then that's in the plans.
okay. So we'll probably add that into the cost, just to have it, to see, how much that would be to install additional mailboxes. So for the road maintenance, the estimates were provided by our Public Works Director, who gave us figures for overtime and annual, just regular salary hours, or, sorry, hourly rates. And then how much it costs for sand and, what's the stuff you patch the potholes with? Cold patch?
Yeah, full back.
Yeah. So you can flip over to, let's see, where are we here? Water meters, oh, that's the summary. So yeah, you'll see that, thank you, you're tracking right along with me. I'm all over the place here. Again, the cost, this is a work in progress, because we've only got water meter installations and road maintenance up there for the time being. And again, the costs with this one for roads, when we get to it, we have to try and figure out how many miles of roads are getting added per phase if Mountain Estates were developed, right, so, or annexed. And the total is about 1.7 miles of road, somewhere in that neighborhood. I think that's our engineer said 1.67 or something like that. So we did a breakout of how we think those would come online, because and correct me if I'm wrong, Dirk, but you would do the roads by phase as well, or are you planning to
Correct.
put in, okay, you're not gonna put them all in at once?
Yeah, the one thing that would need to be done is to make sure the water system would be looped.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that was we integrate that road, that development, or that phase of infrastructure as well.
Okay,
So, but primarily it will be done in phases.
okay, all right. You can probably skip the summary. Water meters was pretty easy if you go to the big spreadsheet with water meter installations. And again, you just follow as things are developed, what the cost of installing a meter is. So that one's not too complicated. And then the roads maintenance was a little more complicated, because we went with, so that's the second big sheet. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So that's the one where we had to develop like the cumulative road miles that'll be developed, and you can see that listed on this sheet. Essentially about a half a mile early on, and then eventually you'll get up to the 1.67, but it'll take some time to get there. And all of this is based on a annual road maintenance cost per mile of about $20,000 that the town estimates it pays to maintain 1 mile of roads, and that's dust guard in the summer, that's plowing in the winter with overtime. So if you want to do it by mile, it's about $20,000 a mile. And we do actually, that is included on this spreadsheet too.
Okay, did you change that from 17.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read
We,
that.
yes, so we gotta update that on the
Okay,
slides.
all right.
Yeah,
I'll just make sure
because,
I changed that too, okay.
no, after looking at it, we just weren't sure we had enough, like, overtime. If you think about, you know, the town works Monday through Thursday. In the winter, not this winter, but a lot of times there's a lot of plowing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's 3 days potentially of plowing. But then there might be overtime overnight. So we just added more overtime in there because it just seemed like the prudent thing to do. So yes, you're correct, that did go up.
Okay.
The next little sheet is just showing how we calculated the approximate miles of each of the roads. And when those would, like the linear feet and then equating that to miles. And this is probably gonna be your favorite one. This nice color-coded facing map at the end. So this is the real method for the madness here, is putting color coding to when each of the townhomes and the single-family lots would come online. And so that's what all these cost estimates are based on. And you can look at, there's also a whole spreadsheet that shows the breakout of the road maintenance cost, if you want to look at that. So I'll give you more time to digest it, but I just wanted to take some time to kind of go through what all this was that you received in
May
your
may I ask
emails.
another question? Maybe I'm
Sure.
too far ahead of myself
No,
or
no, no.
something, but what is the percentage in a development like this that should be open land? Because what I see here is not much.
Mhm.
I see a couple small strips, three strips, and that's all I see for open area. And I thought it was a lot more than that. I thought there was a percentage of acreage or,
Yeah.
I was just kind of
I'm not
surprised
sure, like,
to
if the,
see how small that was. You can see the one right there, the big one, and then there's two tiny
Mhm.
strips, and one of them is 55 feet wide,
Yep,
and 51 feet, and then 109 feet. And they're just, that's not a lot for the density of this
Mhm.
area, I don't think, but
I don't know if the county's land use regulations have specifics on, like, how much open space there has to be.
I think they do, but I don't know. Do you guys know by chance? Are you aware of that?
And I think,
Density calculation?
as far as open space or green space.
Yeah,
Do you know what, Terry?
Yeah, that plan is in compliance with the county's regulations of open space.
Okay.
okay.
That's in compliance.
It just seems so small.
Yeah, no, and I get that, but that's what they recommended, that was the minimum.
Okay, all right.
And
That's-
so with the open space, that's why we designed it to accommodate and meet those regulations of the county.
Okay,
I think, I don't
Thank
know,
you.
for us, we've been more focused on looking at the density of the townhome area and how that works with our ordinances. I believe we have some requirements for open space. Oh, here we go, open space requirements. But I don't think we've
I'm
really
just not,
looked at
I
that.
just am not seeing them, not really seeing much.
So, in our ordinances, it says, each development shall provide open space that is at least 15% of the gross development area for 500 square feet per housing unit, whichever is greater.
That's per acre?
Well, it says 15% of the gross development area, or 500 square feet per housing unit. So again, we have to do more math to look at it. And then it says the design and location of the open space site, as well as its landscaping and recreational furnishings, shall serve one or more of the following functions. Well, okay, there's a bunch of other stuff though. But yeah, so we need to look at that too, as far as how this might mesh with our ordinances, or maybe it doesn't. It would have to
I
be.
might be ahead of myself.
No, not at all. It's a good thing to bring out, because that's one of the things I know Scott has been looking at as far as the townhome portion. And I know there's been some discussions with town administrator and with Dirk and Marlo as well about our ordinances, and then how this does or does not meet our ordinance. And I don't know that we've just come to a conclusion about the density yet. We're still working on that.
Yeah, still have some questions, still working on
So, anyway, any other questions? Again, I know it's sort of a lot right now, but if you take, when you get a chance to look at any of this further, if you have more questions. And again, we're gonna keep refining the estimates, and we're gonna go ahead and put these same drafts online so that the public can look at them as well.
One cost to add would be the cost for the town to maintain that green space.
Okay, yeah.
it. The green space is probably gonna be maintained by the homeowners.
Homeowners
So that's, okay,
Association.
that, yeah, that's,
Yes, it is.
Okay, but are there, that's exactly what I need though, like what else do we need to be thinking about that we incorporate for costs? So we got the mailboxes and do need to add some more road maintenance for chip seal, because that's not in there. But if you think of other things that we're not capturing. I'm just gonna make a note. Mailboxes.
The pathways. If those are gonna stay in.
Which pathways?
And their pedestrian pathways.
Yeah, there's pathways, so.
Are there some on the map now? Sorry, I'm just not.
Are they the red lines?
Is that the road? Oh, I see it on this one. Yeah, it's like below up here. Those
I could be
envisioned
wrong.
as sidewalks or just like paths? I don't know. It does show path though, you're right.
It's pathway.
That's a pathway.
Pathway, yeah.
Okay,
There's no sidewalks.
okay. Yeah, it didn't seem like there would be, but I wasn't sure. I'm not used to reading the survey remarks and things, so. But I would assume that would also be sort of a homeowners association function to maintain. Okay, but if you think of other things, do let us know so we can include those in the costs. Okay. What else? Mountain Estates. So Commissioner Stewart, I'm still working through compiling some answers to some of your questions from last time that we went through. And then we did also get another set of questions and comments from Ms. Willis today that we'll add. And then we're going to also, the town clerk and I are putting together sort of the whole list of comments and questions we've gotten since the annexation petition came in. And we want to post that on the town website along with any responses that the town's provided to those. So just everybody can follow what the concerns are that are being voiced and then, you know, what the responses are to those. So we're trying to get that initial set online tomorrow as well. I don't know if we sent that out. Did we send out the updated annexation timeline? I think we might have talked about it last time. So everyone recalls or knows we shifted the planning commission recommendation to the 11th of March. So it's instead of today. So that's been pushed out. And let's see, the town's meeting or decision meeting is, hold on one second, I'll tell you. It's at the end of April now. I think 21st. When is it? I think it's the 21st. 21st? Yeah, let me double check. Timeline, there we go. Make sure I send that out. Yes, 21st, very good. Okay. Anything else on Mountain Estates tonight? We don't have, well, we do have our special counsel attorney has been working with Trevor on the annexation report and just going through other documentation that, you know, we've sent to him for him to review. We haven't gotten a whole lot back yet, but he's, that dialogue is open and ongoing. And so we'll keep everyone updated on that. Oh, did send out the draft annexation report. That was the other document everyone received. I don't know if anybody had any comments or questions on that. We already know there's going to be a few changes to that document, and the attorney's currently reviewing it as well. But that is on the website as well. So, all right, any other Mountain Estates? Again, it's a lot to digest. Okay, nothing else?
I have a question. For this easement for the, water system, if there's one resident that hasn't signed on yet for that easement, right? Do I understand that right?
Are you looking on this?
Are we talking about the well?
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh,
That
yes.
was- I had a
For-
question
yes,
about that,
You're
too.
correct, yeah. Mhm.
Is there a way to move that? Is the easement set, or could it come on to your own
There's a
lots?
couple of ways that they can approach it. One way is actually through a variance. And if the one resident does not want to sign off, then there can be a variance. If that doesn't go through, then we just drill another well.
And you wouldn't just, I just don't understand how the easement was set up or anything, so I'm just trying to get basic knowledge. It looks like it's in the, outside of your subdivision
Mhm.
boundary, so could you just simply move it into the boundary that your
The
lot
easement?
on? Yeah, or is it,
No.
is it already
It's
set?
actually, yeah, what it is actually, it's wellhead protection is what they call it.
Okay,
And you have to have so many feet around that wellhead,
okay,
so that's how it is. We weren't even aware of that.
okay,
When we punched the well, we went, actually had a well witcher come up and say, this is where you're gonna hit water, this is the approximate. We punched it right there. At that time, we were all in compliance, we were 100 feet from the property lines, what we understood it to be. They increased it when the counties went back and said, no, we need a 200-foot wellhead easement. That's where we started to encroach on other people's property.
okay.
I have that other, does that help clarify?
Yeah, no, it does, thank you. I
Okay.
understand
So,
now.
yeah, I wish we could make that easement, so, but, again, I think that through, understanding, there's ways. Worst case scenario, we punch another well.
So does that make that well inactive then? In other words, can't
No,
use that?
I
you
can use that,
still
I can
use
use
the
that well, I can still use that well. To be a community up to a certain volume, I can use that well. I can actually use that well, and we're in compliance today. And so it's not infringing on anything. It's been misstated that it's not, it's not to be used. No, I have a permit, we have operated in the state, it's actually active and it can be utilized to, I think 12 is what the number is. That I can-
12,
units. So.
up to 12 units?
Yes, and then, once I exceed over the 12, then that's where, so, a couple of things, just for that information.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So right now, we're in compliance.
Is if you were to try to fully develop the well,
Correct. If this does not get annexed, okay, and then let's say the neighbor does not want to grant that easement to satisfy that wellhead protection easement, then I have a couple options. And worst case scenario, punch another well.
Where would you put that other well?
30 feet further,
inward,
And
yeah,
south.
where it's punched, I would go
it looks
30
to me
feet.
like moving it 30 feet, away from her, puts your 200-foot radius into other lots
Yeah.
that will have leach fields.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to eat them up.
So you
I
got,
I create that, I can create that as a designated green space area. There's a lot of options. So worst case scenario, it's not gonna stop, but I just have to move that well. That's not
okay,
a
so you
problem.
just eliminate those as buildable lots.
Yeah.
This isn't really to this point right now, but are you planning on selling any of those lots unbuilt upon? Or are you planning on selling all those with houses on them?
No, we're selling vacant lots.
You are selling vacant lots?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
Other questions from the commissioners on Mount Estates? Okay. And we will move on. The next item on the agenda is public comments. So if anyone here at the meeting this evening has public comment, please feel free to come up and state your name and let us know what you'd like to know.
A couple questions. When you send out all the spreadsheets,
Yeah.
you mentioned that there's listings of how you came up with all the calculations. They'll be included on there.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be able to see how you.
Yep, as far as the
how you
assumptions,
validate
yeah.
it and how you value
Yes, sir.
that. Okay.
Anyone else? Yes.
I just have a question. At the prior commission meeting, you said if it's annexed, the map goes out and you waive the map. But you're talking about this map still. So if you do the land, you're still gonna use this map and you're still basing all your costs on the same map that you said will not be considered? I don't understand, I'm just a little confused.
No,
So
so
we
we,
map in or is the map out?
well, this is the map that was
Right.
officially approved by the county, and so that's
Right.
what we used just as a basis to put
Right.
costs down. But if the annexation were to proceed, the way we understand it, then we would annex the land, and then each phase of this development would come back through for approval from the town.
But you would still keep this map and you would use
The
your
design.
development design
The
is
design.
still in place.
As long as it was,
Conforms with the
conforms
town's
with the town's.
ordinances, right?
Right.
And we, like I said, we feel like there's
So-
probably some changes that would have to occur, and the discussion just now about the
So
well.
So when I looked at the map, there's a, up by the Aaron's property,
Mhm.
one of those lots, there's like 50% of that lot falls within this zone of your well. And
Mhm.
so that lot would be 50% not usable if that's the way, it's marked.
Mhm.
And so, you're gonna tell the people that part of their lots are you gonna tell them that they can't use 50% of this lot, or are you gonna give that lot just a green space?
To tell you the honest truth, I want to combine a lot of the lots
Make bigger
and
parcels.
make my bigger parcel. And make a bigger lot.
But I'm saying,
So it would not infringe upon that, because that wellhead protection that's exactly what it has, so they cannot build it. So I would not sell a lot that was unbuildable. Is that what you're asking?
no, I'm saying one of the lots there, up by that border, 50% of it falls within that well circle
Sure.
that you can't use.
I think you're
And,
So
referring
that
to
could be
lot
donated to
5.
something else. We could
Okay.
redesign it to make it
But
accommodate.
you didn't exclude it in your map, it's still a saleable lot.
No, there's no
If you look
need.
at it like me, a dummy, if I bought that lot, I wouldn't know what the circles were, but maybe not ask. But I just wondered why you included it as a lot when 50% of it is not buildable, because it would be within that zone.
The process to develop, you have to come up with a master plan.
Yeah, I know.
Once we did the master plan, the county all of a sudden blindsided me with the wellhead protections, and so we put that down there to show where that would be infringed upon. And so we don't do any design work until we don't modify, until we know which direction we're going.
People who dig wells, I would think that I'm not arguing with you, I'm just saying,
No, I
the
know.
people who dig wells know the rules, that because they dig wells, and they have to get permits, and they tell the homeowner, me and my husband, we've dug a well, and the well guy knew exactly how many feet, and where we could put it, and where it wouldn't be safe. And so, I can't believe that your well digger didn't know how close he was to someone else's property. The Aaron's property is the one that is the controversy for you now. So I'm just, all this on the well, I noticed that half of this lot isn't usable, and the
So
well's
it
too
wouldn't be
close
for
to the
sale.
border and things like that. As a developer, I just think that our county is either very dumb to give us information, or the people that do our work for us in the county, well diggers and, whoever, excavators, you'd think they'd know the rules. And so I can't believe that we get blindsided by some of these things that, have been in place. Anyway, that's my comment.
So on the.
I'm confused why we keep using this map when last week or last,
So for cost estimation purposes, you gotta
that's what
have,
you're using it for.
yes, as a
Okay.
baseline, because that is what we have right now.
So
and-
this whole thing can be modified if you want to modify it
Yes.
as a developer. It can
Absolutely.
be modified,
Mhm.
okay.
And what we would
Okay.
do as a town, if it was annexed and then we're gonna go forward with phase 2 or 3 or whatever it was, and that's going through the process, we would make sure we updated the cost estimates to reflect any changes that would, be coming. And on you're talking about the lot that's really impinged upon by the well protection area.
There's actually two of them.
Yeah, there's a couple of them, but there's one that a large chunk is coming up. That's also currently phased in the very last phase of
Yeah.
development. So definitely room, I mean, the developer has the opportunity to fix that going forward. But, okay. Anything else on Mountain Estates? Any other public comments? Okay, thank you. A couple other quick agenda items. Master plan, haven't gotten that next chapter out to you. I keep telling you it's really close, and it really is, but hopefully over the long weekend, you might see it on Monday. And that's the one with all the community survey results. And I owe the town clerk the survey results report to put on the website, so we'll get that done too. Any other questions or comments about the master plan? I know you haven't seen much new lately, so. Okay, any other matters from the commission? Commissioners have any other topics?
Nope.
Okay. And we don't have any items to turn over to the town council. Don't believe we have any action items for the next meeting, other than, again, if you think of other costs we should consider including in our draft estimates, just send them to me. Save grounds. None? Okay, could I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Been moved by Commissioner Sommerfeld, and a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Nowak. All in favor?
Aye.